Greetings and bienvenue, midnight crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Sworn to secrecy on this, but I'm fucking high. Life is shitty. Fuck it. This is the time I went to sell drugs at some strange rich people party where a few year back and shit got extremely dark. Be me. Brit bong. Grew up on shitty estate in East London. Poor family. Mum unwell. British.jpg. Whole area is run by a family of gangster drug dealers. Most people there are total fuck-ups. Lots of recruits. I fuck up school. 15-year-old me. Get expelled. Oh well. Start trying to deal drugs with friends. Get robbed. Get beaten up by older boys who gave me the Oz. Fuck my life. Get older. 18. Get smarter. Start reading about businessmen and get sucked into stupid forex scams. Not that smart. Fuck this. End up with a job at a phone shop. Very shitty pay, but I get decent commission as I am good at chatting to people. Save commission. Use it to start dealing again whilst working at phone shop. Avoid gang. Be smart. Start hanging out near university 40 minutes from my flat. Suss out who's rich. Start selling drugs to rich kids. Doing great. Find better suppliers through old friend who is big gang guy. Can cut him in on the quiet. Fuck you phone shop. Living well. Full-time party organizer. Start fooling around with some girl in the circles I'm now providing with high-grade cocaine. She's rich as fuck but is posh rich like old money. Her dad is some fucking fossil fuels guy. Rebelling against rich daddy by fucking drug dealer and wearing vintage 90s clothes. Into weird sex. Daddy probably diddled her. Strange world. After a few months we meet with some of her cousins at a big party. I mean a big thing in a field with a huge tent that is built better than my old tower block. New territory here. I'm literally fucking chauffeured out of London to attend this party with a Gucci man bag they provided. I'm a charismatic guy despite no school or real job. Realize that rich kids also don't like dealing with real gangsters. I'm a happy medium that gives them a bit of danger, and good drugs, but not enough to make them run home. Everyone at the party loves me. I brought them a surprise of pills along with the coke and Mandy. All snort like Hoovers. Thank you for the drugs dealer Anon. You're welcome rich Anons. I'm quids in and the posh kids are all fucked. I attended loads of these parties and had the time of my life. By now I have another new supplier and my coke is the best in the area. Bringing in flake to the parties. I become known as a guy that has the high quality drugs and good service. Months and months of rich people shit. Eventually rich sort of girlfriend Anon invites me to another party. She takes me beforehand to meet loads of you-know-who's in a private suit shop in the city beforehand. Pays for crazy nice suit. I'm looking like John Wick. A week later we go to this party. We're in a cab that goes near Buckingham Palace. My face when, am I about to sell coke to the Queen? Not quite, but we're dropped off at some huge fucking house in an area that doesn't look like London at all. Lots of grass everywhere. The party. WTF is this? Different vibe altogether. Fast jazz is playing. Lots of boomers around. Everyone is chatting constantly. No one is dancing. I have to do the drug exchanges in this dark arched courtyard thing at the back of the house. These rich people are pretending they don't do drugs. They don't want single bags though they're after like a month's supply. Make money but don't really chat to anyone. Sipping bullshit cocktail drinks with GF Anon. Rugby looking guy approaches. Some family friend of GF Anon coked out of his mind. He reminds me of a well-spoken Tuco from Breaking Bad. This guy sounds like fucking Sherlock Holmes and Twista had a baby. Rugby Anon is coked out of his mind and comes across as extremely snobbish. He makes fun of my accent and starts doing a voice like an old cockney selling vegetables on the market, then starts shot, "Oi blad," at me. Ready to break glass over Rugby Anon. Rugby Anon slaps me hard on the shoulder as if we're best pals and hugs me as he's laughing. WTF, man? I try to stifle my rage and remember what my boxing coach always told us as kids. Be smart, not angry. Fuck this guy, but there's money to make. I pretend to laugh and cool the edgy Rugby Anon maniac down. The whole time GF Anon is doing so much fake laughing she sounds like she's going to cry. Rugby Anon explains that his dad owns haberdasheries or some shit. Rugby Anon looks after the guys who look after the buildings. Openly brags about basically having to do nothing whilst getting insane trust fund allowance thing from daddy. GF Anon wants more coke. I go to walk out to the courtyard, but Rugby Anon is like fuck that. He starts whistling as he drags us upstairs to a bathroom. The whole time he's making so much noise and the boomer crowds look up annoyed. Rugby Anon is clearly hated more than me. We go into this odd-looking bathroom. It wasn't messy, it was pristine, but it looked like some kind of Victorian sculpture bathroom and everything had orange tones. Rich people shit. After hoovering lines I sell some to Rugby Anon and he invites me to meet his friend. Downstairs I go out to the courtyard and we meet Rugby Anon's friend. We'll call him Seb. Rugby Anon introduces me as the Chav, and Seb tells him in a very serious way to be quiet. Rugby Anon laughs it off. Odd dynamic. Seb basically does the same job as me, but he is a rich dropout related to the whole scene through family ties or some shit. Seb is posh as shit like the rest, but I later find out he has seen the world and done some bad stuff like stealing from his parents and trying to fraud his cousins. Seems dark, but when posh people tell you they've done stuff like this it doesn't fully register. Whatever, we get along fine. He has an edge to him but is a funny and sharp guy. We end up working together. Long story short, but it was mostly transporting within the UK that I helped him with via middlemen. In return he got me into being one of the unofficially designated party organizers for a pretty big company that quietly arranges fairly high-end sex parties. These sex parties are nothing like what you'd imagine though. It's not Eyes Wide Shut or anything. It's mostly an expensive party where mostly ugly people talk for the majority of it. Eventually they fuck and you can go watch in these booths with curtains if you want. Most of the older guys watch. It's so funny. I had a set of rules, working for this company though, where you basically have to become a silent drug vending machine. Shitty people but good money. Seb vanishes after a while and my connect to the sex parties is cut off with him. Fucking prick. I can't get hold of him and neither can girlfriend Anon. A few weeks later GF Anon tells me Seb wound up getting sectioned, which is being sent to a mental home for a while. Here in the UK Seb was out pretty quick but now lived back with his rich family and was not possible to contact. He was all fucked up, apparently from all the drugs. Compared to those rich fucks I was straight edge. They took drugs all the time, not just parties. Seb was just as bad as them but took uppers all day too. After another week or so GF Anon tells me Rugby Anon wants to talk to me. She has no idea why. She doesn't seem to care but I'm intrigued. I wanted a way to fuck over Rugby Anon ever since he tried to take me for a dickhead at the boomer party. I speak with Rugby Anon and he tells me he needs me to take Seb's place for a job where they're supplying to a discreet rich as fuck people party. Not like all these brats I was rolling with, but like Leo throwing midgets at dartboards rich. Drunk hit and run and get the problem disappeared rich. I said yeah, no problem. Rugby Anon said we not only going to sell coke at the party, but we actually get fucking paid to attend. I was literally hired as freelance drug dealer on a day wage lol. Apparently, it's not that uncommon as you climb that ladder, but to me it was new. I put in for the best flake and brought a bag of 8 balls with me and some Norcos for the women pretending they weren't smack heads. Plan sorted with Rugby Anon. He explains he will meet me there. A driver is coming to get me. Says I can't go unless they pick me up directly outside my door. Strange. I was moving anyway, so said okay fine and gave him my address. I'm picked up by a guy driving an old Hackney cab, but it's not a taxi company. The party has like its own driving service or some shit. We drive about 1 hour outside of London to a place in a fielded area with huge Christmas-looking trees and what is basically the Disneyland logo behind them. Huge beautiful house. When we get there no one is outside, and we go down a slope into a tunnel which opened into a huge car park full of expensive cars. It was like cribs. Driver zips past nice area with nice cars. We go through another tunnel and I'm dropped off without a word. A woman in a face mask greets me. My bag is taken and sent somewhere by another guy leaning through 2 double doors. Weird. This was before Chinese bat virus hell. I tell her the name of Rugby Anon as he instructed me. She explains all these rules and reads out terms that sound like jargon. She gestures to a big lockbox area, but I'd already left my phones at home. This was not my first rodeo. I go through the doors after signing the forms and am frisked twice by 2 guys with flat heads. This is new. My photo is taken and I'm given a black face mask like the COVID ones everyone was wearing. But this wasn't COVID times. I'm ushered up several flights of stairs, through this incredible everything wooden hallway, and then taken to what was basically a huge luxury living room. Flathead guy. Wait here, my bag is returned to me a few minutes later. I'm told to set up lines on this cool mirrored hexagonal dish thing. I rack them and about an hour later Flathead comes in, gives me a huge wad of cash in an envelope with one of those wax buttons, and takes the hexagon plate. This goes on for an hour or so, then Flathead comes for bags I'd been making up. We do this for an hour back and forth and he brings me another envelope. No wax button this time. After a while I ask Flathead if I can go smoke. No. End up talking him round. Slav tings. We smoke outside near this huge rose bush. He barely speaks. On the top floor of the mansion I can see lights sort of at the windows, but it doesn't look a party is happening. A few hours later, after the back and forth, I go smoke again with Flathead. We barely get outside when this hot as fuck rich lady comes stumbling past us. She looks like J-Lo but fatter. She composes herself and asks me for a cigarette. Flathead tries to usher her in sort of, and she is like, get the fuck out of here. He begrudgingly goes under the courtyard roof out the way. Me and thick J-Lo mummy got a vibe going on. She's furious at her husband for some bullshit I don't really understand. Time to cuck husband. Ask her about the party and she goes quiet, then says it's not what I'd think. Okay, we smoke more. I give her what was basically bump for free. Thick J-Lo mummy loves the fantasy she's created in her head. She looks me up and down. Nice suit. Okay, fuck, I'm for real going to cuck Mr. Lopez. Please smother me, thick J-Lo. Let's fucking go, boys. She rambled as she leads me through several different entrances through a new door at the courtyard. Flathead nowhere to be seen. Fuck you, Flathead. We get to a lift. A fucking lift in your house. In the lift she pinches my face through the pre-COVID mask like you would with a baby. Fuck yes, I'm about to fuck thick J-Lo in this mansion. Girlfriend Anon who? She leads me down a hallway that is lit up red. Kinky. We go through this huge fucking door, she enters a code on and suddenly music hits as we open. It's like the music was hidden behind the doors. Never seen anything like it. It was loud too. Worst music ever. It's like house music but it's going a billion BPM or something. We walk down the hallways and it leads to this huge hall. Lights flashing inside. People everywhere. Everyone has stupid black mask. No weird animal head mask or masquerade ball mask, just the COVID mask. I know I said earlier that the sex parties aren't like Eyes Wide Shut. This wasn't either, but it was more like it than the sex parties. It was like Eyes Wide Shut but for yuppies on steroids, I guess. No rituals or cloaks or anything, but just weird vibe, but also in the middle of a party. Music still very loud. Different color lights. I catch my bearings and see loads of people all chatting and drinking like crazy and taking drugs and shit at tables. For a second I clock two guys with drugs at the tables also. That must be the next rung of the ladder. Other than the surroundings and this huge room, it all looks totally normal. J-Lo Thickums leads me around by the arm and is laughing. Fuck knows what is going on at this point. We walk by the edge of the back wall and the people that are dancing aren't really dancing at all, I notice. Mostly kind of bobbing and chatting and doing stupid over-exaggerated poses whilst talking shit, bragging. Real rich people party time shit, but more aggressive. To the back of the room now I start noticing a curtain where we're headed. It's a huge black curtain across like this stone archway. Here security is near. They're not stood like a bouncer, but they're there to be seen. Don't want to get too close. These guys look tougher than Flathead. J-Lo Thick Mummy says wait here for a while and watch over at the curtain. Eventually some other security guy comes out from behind me and walks through the curtains. As he whips the curtains I catch a glimpse of girls behind. All sat in a row on a long sofa. Clearly hookers. I want to laugh. Lol, thick J-Lo is pissed that her husband fucked hookers or something? One thing I learned about working around elite rich folks is that they all fuck each other behind their friends' back all the time. It's normal to them whilst being kept secret that everyone knows anyway. I say to J-Lo Mummy, oh hookers? Dreams of letting thick J-Lo bathe me. She doesn't seem flirty now. No, she says, not just hookers. She says that the girls are human trafficked. Again, not exactly a new thing to hear about in this line of work. Even with rich people they get around that shit somehow. We walk back to the hall and she says that these girls don't leave. WTF, they are slaves? No, she says, they don't leave after tonight. Confused? They finish the girls. Finish? They kill them, she says. Whatever, lol. J-Lo Thick is bonkers. I kind of try to shrug it off and say I need to go back down for my stuff. We leave through a different door this time into like a long hall that reminded me of a bowling alley for some reason. Eventually we get back in the lift. On the way down J-Lo Mummy says the girls are ordered in, paid for, and a group of the party-goers that she said had some kind of finance network, not Illuminati shit, just boring banking shit, that are known they're paid to take them to another area to fuck them and then shoot them in the head in some kind area elsewhere. I start to think I need to attack J-Lo Mummy and run. Freaking me out. Fuck knows what she is saying, but no, I don't believe a word of it. Why the fuck would some rich pay to randomly shoot a woman? She takes me back some other route to the living room. On the way she argues with another flathead, but it's not him, about bathrooms and ciggy breaks. Winks at me as she says it, still confused as fuck. When I get back to the luxury living room she pinches my face and says she hopes I enjoyed the tale. Says I'm sworn to secrecy. Says it as a joke but then mentions the forms and that I'll have a nice drive home. I might sound retarded but I'm not, I can pick up on shit. Felt weird. Thanks crazy bitch. Eventually leave. Have my photo taken again. Frisked again. Weird night. Don't mention it to anyone because of stupid forms I signed and I grew up knowing when to keep my fucking mouth shut. Also I am a drug dealer to rich brats. This might sound weird but I've seen plenty of strange shit and heard so many dumb stories. Weeks later hanging out with girlfriend Anon. Girlfriend Anon mentions Seb. Oh yeah. Says he's really lost the plot. Has to be sectioned again properly. Her cousin told her that Seb has come up with a crazy conspiracy about hookers being shot for money. Rugby Anon part of it. GF Anon laughs and says Seb is a crackhead. My blood runs cold. WTF. I don't say anything. I know this sounds fucking nuts, but it is how it happened, and I have no fucking idea if it was some retarded rich people tale or if it was legit, but I just watched an Epstein doc whilst high earlier and was like, fuck it, I'm telling the story here.
Continue.
That's it, man. I've never mentioned this shit to anyone, so there's not much else. My family are Serbs. I know when to shut the fuck up, but tonight hit different and I needed to mention it some way. I don't fear for my life. It wasn't all weird like Illuminati government shit. Just some very rich people possibly doing some dark shit. I didn't see anyone famous or anything, just got told that story, and then the Seb thing, it just plays on my mind. I'm no longer with girlfriend Anon, but I chop her now and then still. If I ask about Seb, she just shrugs. I don't think she knows anything she's not telling me. I just don't think she gives a fuck about anything other than herself. Rugby Anon, she said, is in Brussels, probably pretending to do work for his daddy.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel, as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.